healing from burnout, overcoming burnout, or steering away from burnout takes one thing, and it's the only important thing. It takes knowing, understanding yourself, being very self-aware of your inner dynamics. You cannot fight burnout. You cannot keep going when your body and mind and emotions are actually worn out. So do not try to fight yourself. That will only make it worse. You need to understand yourself. You need to be aware what drives you. So, for example, the Enneagram 9. The Enneagram 9 is a personality style within the Enneagram, and I'm going to use it to explain to you how the dynamic works for the 9 towards flow and happiness and fulfillment, or towards stuckness and burnout. So the Enneagram 9 needs to understand for itself that what is driving is the fear of conflict. The 9 in us is driven by the fear of conflict. I think we can all relate to that. No one likes conflict. For the 9, this avoidance of conflict is the main driver, which means that as a 9, I will always and at all times avoid any situations that might get other people's hackles up, that might put up a strong opinion on my side, that might make me do things that other people resist or don't like. So you can see that in the negative spiral, in the downward spiral, the 9 is completely unable to stand up for itself. It loses itself, it serves others, it doesn't have its own agenda, it doesn't dare to have its own agenda. And you can imagine how serving others to that degree and treading silently and really actually negating my own needs and wishes drives us in a burnout, because there is nothing left of us that we are fulfilling, that we are serving, that there's nothing where we find fulfillment or where we fill our glass of energy, so to speak. And so that is the driver. And often the 9 denies that there's a problem. It doesn't want to see that it is actually angry and furious, because anger and fury are the worst thing that will really cause terrible conflict. So the 9 denies anger until it explodes out of itself. And that really scares the 9, and that's often why 9s are passive aggressive, and that looks like this. No, I'm not angry. Okay, so that's the negative spiral, and you can see how the 9 can be completely caught in that. The positive spiral is that the 9 begins to become awake to its own needs and wishes, that it uses its incredible gift at diplomacy of helping people agree to actually also insert its own wishes, to give events a direction that also brings them forward, that also has their agenda in mind, in seeing that actually when I have an opinion, others can have an opinion, and we can find a new way forward, because as we voice opinions, we can find a new way. So the 9 has to learn in a big way what we all have to learn, which is having an opinion, having a need, having a wish, having an agenda is not wrong in itself. It needs to be voiced. And then, as the 9 can do so beautifully, when it brings it all together, this combined voices, this combined wish, these aligned wishes, agenda, dreams, goals, develop an incredible momentum. The 9 is able to be so effective and moving teams in itself forward at an incredible pace. That is when it's really knowing itself, when it's feeding its own energies, when it's feeding the team's energies, when it's standing up for itself. When it's in the downward negative spiral, it is completely depleted, it is often completely stuck, or it's incredibly busy doing everybody else's wishes and treading very quietly and never really saying what they want, while people tread carefully around them, because they do feel on some level that this is a mind waiting to explode. So you can see that as a 9, for example, there needs to be a whole reprogramming of our thought processes, of our beliefs, of our feeling, to actually re-energize ourselves, to reconnect ourselves with ourselves, and to make sure that we do not go into burnout. That is why it's so important that you know yourself, that you understand yourself, that you understand your red flags, and that you know how to move into the positive, energizing spiral of self-fulfillment, of self-belief, and incredible success and effectiveness, and away from depletion, burnout.